I'm giving away this championship at 100,000 subscribers, so you already know what to do. Welcome back to the Ango Show. I, of course, am Ango, and today is a big one because NXT No Mercy is happening tonight. WrestleDream is happening tomorrow. We got some big news. First, I want to kick things off with Dolph Ziggler, recently released by the WWE. There's been a lot of talk online about Dolph Ziggler and where he can go. A lot of people are suggesting AEW. A lot of people are suggesting Impact. On the Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross was talking about this, and I thought he left something very good out in the open for wrestling fans to digest. He says, I don't know that it's permanently going to be gone for WWE. I think once the dust settles and you start thinking about roles that he could fulfill, and there are many, not just wrestling, but, you know, I listened to somebody, maybe some Busted Open or something like that the other day, and they were talking about Dolph, and he might be in line for a role much like Adam Pearce is on Raw. And if that's the case, he'll do a great job. Oh, yeah, Ziggler's a star, and you just don't cast stars to the side. So I'm predicting that Ziggler will get back in the game with WWE in some role, but a different role other than wrestling. So he's a great talker. He's got a great appearance. He looks good. He's a smart kid. And there was so much more that he was talking about. And obviously goes on to say that he's a huge Dolph Ziggler fan. And look, I actually agree with Jim Ross. There is this belief, there are some rumors, there are some rumblings online that indicate WWE might be bringing back some of the people that they released. Dolph Ziggler is somebody that has kind of been mentioned, but it does make sense, right, for WWE to utilize Dolph Ziggler in a backstage capacity. And I get it. I think Dolph Ziggler has a lot to offer in the ring. I think he's a great performer. But at the same time, too, this is a different era of WWE. They got other talent they're trying to push. And I know some people might not agree with this, or they might not like the fact that I'm saying it, but there are so many other people that you are trying to prioritize. And it's not that Dolph Ziggler isn't good enough to be prioritized. It's not that Dolph Ziggler, ran his course or whatever, but WWE is trying to show people it's a different product, and part of that is introducing new faces. Dolph Ziggler is a real, legit veteran. He is one of the best, and I think he would be very good in a backstage role. Now, obviously, that really comes down to whether or not even Dolph Ziggler would want to do that, but if he were, I could see WWE making that push for him to return. And truth be told, if Dolph Ziggler still wants to wrestle, all these other companies are great options too. He's pretty much going to blend in absolutely everywhere. But I want to make it very clear, Dolph Ziggler also does a lot of projects outside of WWE. With him working WWE in a different role, I can see him coming to an agreement with WWE if they allow him to do those other projects and they don't get in the way of it or whatever it may be. And if you're the WWE, it might even be smart to go that route. Dolph Ziggler could do Hollywood if he wants. Dolph Ziggler could do a stand-up comedy if he wants. He could do whatever he wants. WWE should kind of buy into that a little bit since they love that mainstream crossover appeal, which I actually think Dolph Ziggler has it. And if he's working in a backstage capacity and they have a flexible schedule with it, whatever it may be, it could actually be beneficial for both parties. Speaking of returns, Bella twins, well, now they're the Garcia twins. This is definitely getting people talking because Brie Bella was asked about this on social media. And she says the question was pretty simple. It was, will you wrestle again? And she says, I will. I'm waiting for Buddy to grow a little bit more. The great thing is that there's many companies with great opponents. I'd love to wrestle Saraya again, Britt Baker. Love to go wrestle Trinity. Can't wait to see her and Mickey in action. First on my list is the Iconics. Wrestle them in Australia would be amazing. So obviously, Brie Bella teasing a return. I think deep down inside, if Brie returns, Nikki has to return as well. And look, the Bella twins were ahead of their time, and a lot of people could sit there and they could talk about in-ring stuff. They could talk about booking or whatever. But when the Bella twins were actually in WWE as a prominent figure in WWE didn't even really bat an eye for the women's division at all. And even now, there's still a lot more ways they can improve the women's division. But at least now there is a little bit more focus on the wrestling and the stories and actually giving them a little bit more prominence on the program. Brie and Nikki, obviously big stars for WWE. They've done a really good job of leaving WWE and still making an absolute killing outside of WWE. If Brie and Nikki were to come back, the Iconics, obviously, that would be fun. If they wanted to go to AEW or if just Brie Bella wanted to go to AEW, it would make a lot of sense, obviously, considering that Bryan Danielson's there. There's a lot of synergies there. There's a lot of reasons why it could make a lot of sense. And ideally, if they were to return. I don't think it would really matter where they go. I would definitely like it. Now, I do want to point out, if you guys watch this channel, I do talk a lot about the Impact women's division. That Knockouts division is great. And, they got something really cool happening with Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich as part of the KO tag champs. And, if they wanted to, you could even do something like that, too. I think that could be really fun. And then, of course, a return to WWE could always make sense. But you got to remember that they were kind of upset with WWE, and they were kind of blasting WWE publicly after their departure. So you never know if that's you never say never, but I don't think it would be happening in WWE is my point. But it's something to pay attention to. And I just kind of want to throw this out there, too. This is Brie Bella talking, not Nikki. So if Brie Bella returns and does a singles run, it would be very interesting to see how that goes because, look, we know how it goes. Brother-sister tag teams, they try to do these singles runs. Sometimes it works out for one more than the other. And right now it's working out really well for Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso's got something cool going on, but it's very clear that Jey Uso is like the guy that has a lot of mainstream potential, a lot of success as a singles guy. A lot of people always thought it would be Nikki over Brie. And I think it's so stupid to pick one over the other, but it would be really crazy to see that Brie Bella maybe goes the singles route as well. And you got to be careful with that because you're always going to be compared to your twin, your brother, your sister, whatever it may be. Tony Khan teasing some massive stuff for WrestleDream. We know the new era is coming up. Tony Khan decided to do something that I think has everybody talking right now. Adam Copeland won't stop trending on Twitter, and this is because Darby Allin, 2 out of 3 falls against Christian for the TNT Championship, is main eventing WrestleDream. So I think right there, obviously, there's a lot of significance with Edge possibly showing up in the main event to close out the show. We also talked a little about Maria May from Stardom. There's rumors of her coming to AEW. There's rumors that she won't be coming to AEW. And then there's also rumors that Mercedes money might be cleared in time. But Tony Khan is saying this is a new era. And I could be totally wrong, but All Out 2021, the surprises kept coming. They were ready to go. It was all on fire. Boom, boom, boom. You had Ruby. You had Adam Cole. You had Bryan Danielson. I mean, that car was star-studded. All those debuts, all those big moments. And AEW never really was the same since then, to be honest. And when Tony Khan says a new era is happening and they're teasing some stuff here, I don't know what to expect. I think Edge makes a lot of sense. I think Mercedes makes a lot of sense. I think they've already built the bridge for Mercedes to come in. It's not a totally foreign idea. It's not like they've ignored it or anything like that. But I think, when you're teasing these major surprises, you have to remember it's the follow-up that matters. And Mercedes is fantastic and Edge is fantastic. And if both of them debut, that's great. I'm just not sure how new signings equate to a new era. And I'm going to say this, and I'll say this a lot. When Vince McMahon was done with WWE and Triple H came out and, everything's like a new era, new era, new era. In a sense, it was, but it didn't really feel like a new era because Triple H had already taken over. When Vince retired, it was weird. To say it's a new era and then not necessarily do things that make it feel like a new era, that's an issue. And I don't think new signings equate to a new era. So I'm hoping Tony Khan actually has major plans to reveal during WrestleDream. But these are some pretty big surprises that can happen, and I'm excited about it. So let me know what you guys think. Don't forget I'm giving away this championship, so click subscribe.